Well, hello, folks. Welcome to the Science of Winning podcast. This is a real and raw podcast that I'm going to share with you on a regular basis. We're going to do 3 to 4 episodes every single week for you to be able to apply the knowledge, the skills, the tools, the systems, and strategies to win in every aspect or area of your life. That's ultimately what I'm here to do in terms of trying to deliver as much value to you as possible. I'm so excited because I've been waiting for a platform where I can create a specific community, a community that is committed to the science of winning, and that is you. So first of all, I want to thank you for tuning in and being part of our community here. So what is this podcast about? This podcast, and what I'm going to do is every week, I'm going to give you 3 to 4 episodes. So Monday to Friday, I'm going to lay out 3 to 4 episodes for you to apply, just short snippets. We're going to be 5 to maximum 10 minutes long for each episode, where you're going to be able to apply real practical steps towards winning, whether that's winning in your relationship, whether that's winning towards your financial goals, whether that's winning towards your personal health or your spiritual health or your cognitive performance. A lot of this is going to be around 3 particular areas. Okay, it's going to be around how you perform, how you achieve, and how you are fulfilled in life. Those are the 3 main areas. So I want you to be able to perform at your, you can say your highest potential. That's the most important thing. Then you also want to achieve, right? You want to be able to achieve some kind of success based on your terms, but you also want to have the third element, which is fulfillment. And if you are doing the first 2, which a lot of people are, they're performing and they're achieving, but they're not getting the fulfillment, they are not winning in life. And so I'm going to bring those 3 things to you so that you can be successful and be successful on your terms, not necessarily my terms or anybody else's terms, because that's the one thing. Having been in this space for almost 30 years, and when I say space, I'm talking about personal development and high performance for close to 30 years. Yeah, it's been a very long time. And studying the neuroscience and the performance psychology behind us as human beings and how we perform and how we interact and our level of happiness and joy and our quality of relationships, what I've realized is that it's different for every single person. Every single person has a different measure, yet we are easily influenced by others. So the first thing I want you to get is that you define success based on your own terms. That is the most important thing for you to do here today, is to define success on your terms, not my terms, not anybody else's terms, because it's your life, it's your path, and every single person has a different path. And now let's jump into, I'm just going to give you a quick nugget of insight here when it comes to the framework that I'm going to be using here throughout these episodes. I'm always going to be talking about 3 particular things. Okay, so I'm going to be talking about your strategy, what is your state, and what are your systems. And I've broken down, you can say, performance and fulfillment over the years into these 3 buckets because I was trying to make it easier for people to understand. And this is the easiest way for people to understand, is what we call the 3S model: strategy, state, and systems. So strategy is your approach. What is your path towards achieving the success or winning or whatever it is? So if you're trying to obtain a higher salary, how are you actually doing that? What is your strategy? What is your path? And that path needs to be laid out. Because if you don't have a path, you're going to be much longer for you to achieve it. You're going to be using up important resources without being strategic, and you're more likely to fumble. And it's not that you're not going to fumble if you have a strategy. You're going to fumble it regardless, but you're going to be more apt to get back in line if you have an effective strategy. So that is the first element, right? Everything comes down to your approach first. Then the second element is your state. State is so important. State is how you show up every moment. It is a decision. Yes, it is a choice for you to make how you're going to show up every single moment. And we're going to break that down. So now you're going to have an effective strategy. You're going to be in what we call an optimal state or a peak state to be able to execute on the strategy, right? Because you can give 2 people the exact same strategy, but the person who still shows up more often and consistently in an optimal state is the one who's going to execute more effectively. Hands down. We know this over and over again. The third element is what we call systems. And that's the habits, the routines, the tools, the technology that you use to work towards your strategy. So it could be maybe you're using AI, maybe you're using some kind of automation. Maybe you have just simple things like what kind of reminders do you have for yourself throughout the day? What kind of habits do you have? What kind of routines do you have? Because that is going to enable you to make those tactical steps of your strategy to execute so that you actually get to the end goal a lot faster, a lot easier. And you're not wasting, as I mentioned before, a lot of resources. So those are the three things. If anything in your life becomes too much of a challenge, or if you feel like you're not making progress, I want you to come back to this. I want you to think about, okay, what is the strategy that I'm using? Is it effective? I want you to think about what state are you in? Are you in the optimal state? Are you consistent? And what systems are you using? Everything that you do, every single thing that you do, every approach that you have, every relationship, every business, every single thing can be broken down into these three areas. And when you can break them down into these three buckets, it's much easier to identify what's working and what's not working. So I'm excited to be sharing these episodes here with you going forward, and I appreciate your support. So thank you very much, and stay tuned for the next episode.